Hey everybody, come and dive on in. Today's episode is all about gut health optimization and some amazing programs that Jason is working on. Check it out.
Like, just try it for 10 days. 10 days later, my gut felt better than it's ever been. And
Ugh.
that's when the light bulb went off and I started really looking at the research. That's hard to come by because I find like the social media is so inundated with like these low carb diets. I kind of experimented and I came across Ayurveda, which was really impactful in the sense that it got me thinking about the body as a whole system. You know? And didn't just be like, well, your genes made you get this disease, your genes made you get this. It put the idea in my head like that, that we have some control over our health. Not only is this a diet where you feel great, you look at animals and you know you're not harming them, but it's also the healthiest diet for you. And it's the best diet for the environment. It's like the three major things are all taken place in one diet. It just made so much sense.
Welcome to Plant-Based on Fire.
Hello everybody and welcome to Plant-Based on Fire, where we talk about plant-based businesses and their inspiring stories to thrive in our industry. I'm your host, Bryan, and today we have a very special guest on a mission to grow healthy, happy communities of humans with a happy, healthy microbiome in their gut. Welcome to the show, Jason Demchok, the Fiber King.
Thank you. It's an honor to be here. Thank you.
I appreciate you hanging out with us again. We've had you on the Real Many Plants show a little bit, and we're getting to know each other even better. And so I just wanted to help unpack your business a little bit more with all of our business side of the podcast network here. So just take us back and help set the stage for those that haven't seen the Real Many Plants show. Help set the stage of like, what's your inspiration? How'd you get started in your whole plant-based journey?
All right. Thank you. Yeah. So my grandfather had a deli in New York, and so food was just a big part of the family. My father learned, my aunt learned, and he had it with his two other brothers. One of them got sick, and the doctors had no options for him. So they just somehow found health food. This is like in the early 70s, like and they just started getting into health food and selling it at their deli. And before you know it, their deli became a health food, like one of the first health food stores in America. And then eventually it became the biggest health food store on the East Coast. So that's kind of my family background. So I grew up just hearing all this stuff. But unfortunately, I also grew up in the 80s. It was just so much junk food. My parents tried to keep it healthy, but I would go to my parents' houses and TV dinners were a big thing.
I know, Hungry Man. You just made me think Hungry Man for sure, right? That's right.
So I did experience a lot of that, and but then when I got a little older, I started thinking about my grandfather and just not wanting to get sick, and I kind of experimented, and I came across Ayurveda, which was really impactful in the sense that it got me thinking about the body as a whole system. You know? And it didn't just be like, well, your genes made you get this disease, your genes made you get this. It put the idea in my head like that, that we have some control over our health. So, and it also advocated a vegetarian diet, not a vegan diet. So, and I never liked the idea of eating animals. It always felt weird to me. So I was like, oh, this is great. I did it. I always had gut issues, really bad gut issues, like painful, and I could never figure it out. And it wasn't fully going away. So that's when I discovered like the paleo diet and all these people saying you got to eat meat and avoid like certain lectins. So I went down that whole rabbit hole and didn't get the results I wanted either until finally, after many years, I met a doctor named Dr. Shanhong Lu. She's brilliant. And she was like, try the whole food plant-based diet. And I said, that's crazy. Like all these plants are bad for you. She's like, just try it for 10 days. 10 days later, my gut felt better than it's ever been. And that's when the light bulb went off. And I started really looking at the research. That's hard to come by because I find like the social media is so inundated with like these low carb diets. So that was great because I also studied cooking in many different countries, India, and I lived in Japan for 2 years. I was an exchange student. So again, I loved cooking. I loved grocery shopping, going to the markets. So I learned all that stuff. But then when I was getting into this low carb stuff, I was so restricted because people say like the vegan diet is restrictive. low carb diet is so restrictive. I had to give up fruits and whole grains. I wasn't
Right?
eating fruits for years, just like berries. And then all of a sudden, I was like, it was like such an amazing moment. Like I
Yeah.
took all these foods without the guilt, and then quickly after that, soon after that, I would be on these calls, these workshops with plant-based doctors, and I was reading all the books, and I really noticed like there were some good recipes, but they were so complicated. So
Hmm.
just little by little, I came up with a way to batch cook different things and have your food stock because nobody has time. I mean, that's just the
That's
reality.
right.
For better
That's
or
right.
worse, maybe AI will change things, but right now everybody is really, tight for time. So I came up with a way. I say like if you have 2 to 3 hours a week, you could prep enough food for the whole week or for 5 days.
Hmm.
Potatoes will last 5 days. So in fact, the potatoes and grains, if you cook them and then let them cool off, up to 30% of the carbs actually turn into fiber, into resistant starch. So
Mm.
it's not only is it cool to have a whole thing of millet or brown rice and potatoes, sweet potatoes in the fridge, they're actually getting healthier by letting them sit overnight.
I love it, man. You really unpacked a lot there. So you've had quite the journey, and I'm jealous because like I looked into the Ayurveda a little bit here and there, and it's just like they have those temples all around the globe, honestly, and you can go for like a 10 day or 1 month like deep dive or something like that, and like really. I don't know. There's all we should do a whole episode on that separately. But you've gotten to have some culinary adventures all around the globe. It sounds like. I know we were talking about dosa the other day. I would love to know your chana masala recipe because I've got mine, but I'd love to see what yours tastes like. So we'll have to trade that. You went through this amazing transformation, and I think that's what led to your sort of 8 week gut reset program. Talk to us about that program a little bit and what some of the core principles are, and how people can find out about that.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, so we have heard all we hear about if you're on Facebook where most people are getting their science from, right? It's carbs, fats, and protein. All we hear about high carb diet, low fat diet. But there's another, arguably more important macronutrient than all of those, which is called fiber. So again, when I grew up, I was told fiber just helps you poop better. It's just, it adds bulk.
Hmm.
And then when I had this transformation and I felt better after 10 days, I stopped having burning in my gut for the first time. As long as I can remember, I said, what happened? Like, how did this work? You know? And I came across the book called Fiber Fueled, which I'm sure you've heard of.
Hmm.
And that was like the light bulb moment about the microbiome is literally a colony, an ecosystem of these bacteria which communicate with each other, which turn our genes on and off, control our immune system, protect us. And so I was just like thinking like, oh, and he said, I'm sorry, he said in the book, the the diversity of the fiber you eat, the diversity of plant foods you eat equals the
Hmm.
diversity of the microbiome. So that was like so exciting. It's like you get to eat like get different colored potatoes, get different like just putting as many plants. Trying like it became like a game to me. How many
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
plants can I put into my daily routine? And a lot of people have a hard time. So that's kind of how my program started. Like Dr. Greger talks about the daily 12
Hmm.
and greens, beans, whole grains, fruits,
Hmm.
fermented vegetables, sprouts, like all these kind of things. If you can try to get them on a daily basis. So I came up with a way to show people, at the very least, if you just make this Buddha bowl or Bliss bowl, you're getting you're guaranteed you're getting some greens, some beans, some whole grains. I put apples in there. You're getting
Yeah.
fiber, you're eating all of these areas. So yeah, it was just so exciting to realize like all these different fibers actually feed the microbiome, and that
Yeah.
helps the brain. So it makes serotonin. So it actually improves your mood.
Hmm.
So it was just like a no brainer to me. Like it's so exciting that and then the greatest thing that I think you understand too is like not only is this a diet where you feel great, you look at animals and you know you're not harming them, but it's also the healthiest diet for you, and it's the best
Hmm.
diet for the environment. It's like the three major things are all taken place in this one diet. It just made so much sense. And then
Yeah,
that was the amazing part. But then trying to explain that to people, that's the
yeah.
hard part.
That's our challenge. We've just been indoctrinated for hundreds of years in these other little ways of doing it. Marketing engines are strong, all that good stuff. But you know, I've gotten to live in a few different places around the globe, and definitely have traveled a bunch. You have done even more than me, it seems like, honestly. And I'm just curious, how do you incorporate some of these different global food traditions into different recipes while still making sure you're jam packing, like you said, the health benefits in there?
Yeah, exactly. Like, I lived in Japan, and I would, like, in my free time, I would meet like the grandmothers and be in the kitchen with them. And Japanese food is already super healthy. I mean, they're using
Mm-hmm.
miso, which is fermented. Um, but yeah, that's really what I do, is like start with a traditional recipe. But, then there's like added sugar, and then I'm like, well, could I replace that with a date instead of
Mm-hmm.
sugar? And oh, tastes even better. So it's a lot of experimentation. Like, how I work, like with the dosa, for example, I learned
Mm-hmm.
that from a South Indian woman. Came here from South India, incredible cook, but unfortunately, they use a lot of oil. That's a
Mm-hmm.
really big thing. They use
Yeah.
ghee, but then in
Ghee.
South
Yeah.
India they use oil.
Mm-hmm.
So she showed me how to do it, and I'm like, it was delicious, of course. And then I spent the whole summer, like, you know what? Because they use a specific rice. I'm like, what happens if I use brown rice instead for the dosa?
Mm-hmm.
Worked out perfect. Okay, instead of like this one type of lentil, could I try peas?
Yeah.
Boom, it works. So I just keep refining it, and then I came up with a way to make it without oil. And then
Okay.
I went back to her recently, and I made it for her, and I covered it. I cover it. So that's how you cook it without oil. It kind of steams it.
Mm-hmm.
She looked at me. She's like, my grandmother used to make it this way. Like,
Oh, wow.
oil was so available,
Yeah.
it didn't use as much oil. So to answer your question, it's like I find something, and I just keep. What I try to do with everything is make every recipe as simple as possible. How
Mm-hmm.
many ingredients can I take away? Like, you see these cookbooks, they have this. This is what I noticed about cookbooks, is like they want to make their recipes seem fancy, so they add so many unnecessary
Mm-hmm.
ingredients. So I try to keep it as simple as possible. So I just refine it. How can I get more fiber into it?
Mm-hmm.
And then you hit that sweet spot, and it's just perfect.
Yeah. You should reach out to Shane Martin with Shane and Simple. If you know him yet, you should talk with him. Check out Shane and Simple, because he's got almost every recipe he has is less than 5 ingredients and stuff. So there's some strong collaboration. I get daunted when I look at a recipe and there's 47 ingredients. I'm like, holy, do I even have this in my in my?
It's like 8 different skills, but each
Mhm.
skill has like 2 to 3 ingredients. For
That's right.
example, if you look up the recipe for, I'll give one recipe right here now, like the balsamic onions. If you type that
Hmm.
in and look at the recipes, like you'll get a whole bunch of recipes. It's like onions, balsamic vinegar, sugar, like
Hmm.
salt, and you just need the onions and the balsamic vinegar, and it's
That's right.
perfect.
That's right. That's right.
So
And
yeah.
there's like 20 different kinds of balsamics now,
Oh
infuse
yeah.
this, infuse that. So if
Oh,
you change the flavor palette just a little bit there. Yeah, I'm trying to keep this on the business side of things a little bit here. So talk to us about your entrepreneurship journey. You and I could clearly geek out about the food and the recipes for the rest of the show. How, on the entrepreneur side, have you seen as some of your biggest challenges in trying to bring this plant-based business and this gut health program forward, and finding clients, and how have you overcome some of them?
well, great question. I'm in the process of overcoming it because I don't.
We all are. There's always another problem, I hate to tell you.
Some of us like you are a little bit more advanced. Like, I don't have a business background. I've been into psychology and Buddhism and food for so long. So I thought going into business, like, you have a great product, you show good results, everybody's going to be knocking down your door, right?
Right.
And
Field of dreams. Right.
so So I recently met a few people, including yourself. This is why it's such an exciting time. Like I opened up, when the student's ready, the teacher appears. So I got a few teachers. I am now learning how SEO works and paid advertising works. So luckily, I have people coaching me through this because I know that if you don't know what you're doing, you could just throw money at advertising and lose a lot of money very quick. I know people who lost it all. So I'm working with people on keywords and just a lot of different tricks. So I think yeah. So I'll know more. I'm working on this as we speak, but I could see it now. Like there's like an intentional way to do this. Like in other words, instead of trying to like, oh, it's going to spread word of mouth. I'll tell my friends. My friends will tell their friends, but they don't do it, and then you get into fighting with your friends. You're like, why aren't you telling people about this? So I'm learning to just let go and put it out there, like spend a little money on the advertising and do market research and then refine it. Because I know my program is amazing. If you follow it, you get the results. I have amazing testimonials. I have everything in place, and now I just need to get in front of people. So that's the best I can answer. Like I've made all the mistakes now, and now I'm ready to just surrender, let go of some of the ego, let some people who know more about this like guide me through this process. And and also what I'm going to start doing now is putting out more content.
Yeah. So that's the key. So join more podcasts like this. That's a great way to get the word out. I would say I coach a lot of businesses, and the number one thing I tell everybody is, when is the last time you've asked your previous customers to recommend you? Because you can't do it once. You have to do it more often because they love you. They love the program you offered, and then they just forget. So just like going to church or other things, like they're constantly saying, like, take this card home and pass it out and invite people to this Easter service or whatever. Like you have to do it all the time because your biggest fans are the ones that are going to help you promote it. So make sure you're doing that as well if you aren't already. But that's a tip for others out there. Yeah.
Because I feel like, oh, I asked them once, I don't want to bother them again. But you're saying,
Nah. Yeah, absolutely. Why not? I think you totally should.
All right, if you've ever wanted to show off your plant-based lifestyle and do it in style, here's your chance. We have some of the most amazing t-shirts, hats, accessories, coffee mugs, and more at shop.realmeneatplants.com. We have statement t-shirts that will bring a smile to everyone's face. I love the I want tofu tonight tee. Plus, we have podcast tees, Real Women Eat Plants gear, Real Kids Eat Plants, and Real People Eat Plants, just in case men, women, and kids didn't cover it all. Yeah, we love you and love that you want to show off that healthy lifestyle of yours. Again, check out our high-quality gear at shop.realmeneatplants.com and enjoy.
I'm curious on, I have not developed any courses and stuff. So what is the work and the effort that goes into creating a comprehensive program like the 8-week gut reset?
Yeah, thank you. I love making programs because that's just the way my mind works. It's like you get the result you want, right? In my case, I want people to have so much confidence to go in the supermarket, know exactly what to buy, and have these 8 skills just memorized or able to pull up real easily, and they can make food for themselves, their family. They're like, I like people who like, oh, I'm afraid of the kitchen. I want to help people love the kitchen. So I start with the result I want, and I'm like, how do I get there? How do I like backwards engineer this?
Yeah.
So that's my process, and I used Wix at first. It's pretty easy. It's pretty easy. Again, like I'm pretty good at this kind of stuff. If you're not good, reach out to me. I can help you develop a program.
There you go.
Someone else, someone who like you can go on Fiverr, but you want to make it. I think the best formula is you want to make it not too easy, but not too difficult. Like just that sweet spot. So again, no one has time, right? My 8-week program, it's like the first week you're making a salad and the dressing. So it's literally like 5-minute video, like keeping it as simple as possible. And then people like just focus on that. Next week, keep making the salad and the dressing. Like we're building the habit. Now I'm going to show you how to pressure cook the beans.
Hmm.
And that's all we're going to do. And then the next week, so each week we're building upon the previous one. So by the end of 8 weeks, you have 8 different skills that you can put it all together into one
I
bowl.
love it. You learn those skills, and then you figure out, oh, I can mix and match this, and I can build these combos, and yeah, exactly. And I feel like, I don't know, for me growing up as an 80s kid myself, I don't feel like my parents taught me a whole bunch about cooking. You know what I mean? Like we didn't do it like potentially their moms did with them to a degree, because we moved into this fast food microwave culture to a degree. I mean, I learned the basics, but at the same time I didn't learn some of the more intricate things around that. So
That's exactly.
interesting.
I mean, that is again one of the things that saddens me so much, because I did have the privilege of growing up cooking since I'm 7 years old with my father, food
Hmm.
trucking. It was just so much fun to be able to take hard beans, right? You put them
Hmm.
in water, they become soft. You cook them, and before you know it, you have an amazing source of fiber and protein that you can
Right.
mix and match with all different sauces. So yeah, I really want to share this amazing, just natural gift experience of being able to cook. So yeah, you're absolutely right. So many people just didn't learn to do it, and it's just like such an important skill to have. Like
Yeah.
everywhere I go, I can cook. People love you.
That's right. That's right. You make instant friends as soon as you start making a meal. That's right. Well, you touched on it a little bit, like the Wix website, the Squarespace. Those tools are fairly easy to get them to that like 80% mark, and then you start working on marketing, and you start working on links and getting links to your website and all that kind of SEO marketing type stuff. I'm just curious if you've seen like what other avenues are you working to promote your business online? What works best for you strategy wise? Have you played with directories like Yelp or Happy Cow or VegReg as a part of that strategy? Help us unpack that a little bit.
No, like I said, I've been pretty behind in all of that. Like I had this, I would say, naive idea that it would spread like word of mouth. And I have good months and I have weak months. Like if I'm traveling like now,
Hmm.
like I lose a whole month.
Yeah.
So that's why I realized like, and my recommendation for everybody, if you're like me, I think a lot of people, we all have different minds. You know, I love research, I love to study, I love to create in the kitchen, but I just don't have a marketing mind. And so that's why I recommend definitely hire people. We're in an age now. I think it's really important to work together, even if
Hmm.
like, and that's kind of how I see the future too. Like, we don't have to create a business together, but we can have these good relationships with other skillful people. But absolutely, that is all part of the strategy. I need someone like a project manager who can be. Now we're going to do your Yelp. Now we're
Yeah.
like I just started with Google My Business, so
Hmm.
I registered my business. So that's really all I've done up until now. It's been really just word of mouth and just
That's right.
posting and just talking at local events. And I spoke at some expos that usually brings some good
Yep.
clients. But now, like I said, I want to be able to just be traveling and people are just showing up at the website. But that does take a lot of work with the SEO. So if you
Yeah,
do
it
the work,
does.
what I'm understanding now is if you do the work, it does work.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yep, it does. I can attest to that for sure. I've been
Thank you for
helping.
reminding me, because that's what I need to. Because I just get
And it's simple. It is just time boxing. You know what I mean? If you get up every day and you spend your 15 minutes on the social media, and then you spend 15 minutes putting a couple links together, and 15 minutes on this strategy, like carve out that hour or so to focus on your business in some fashion, I think you'll really see that start to come to fruition, because it's that 1% better every day kind of concept. It'll just incrementally add that value for you. So
thank you.
I'm curious, you touched on it a little bit though, like how do you stay up to date with the busy life, running a business, traveling and all that stuff? How do you stay up to date with the latest nutrition and dietetics studies and bringing that information to your clients?
Well, again, it's like I think one of the best things we could do is to always have people smarter than us around us, at all times. So yeah, I know a lot, but Jeff Palmer, who you interviewed,
Yeah.
he's like my go-to guy. Like every Thursday he puts out a video with the most cutting edge science, and he shows the research of how it was done. So I follow a lot of people like that, like him. There's a guy, Mike the Vegan, Dr. Gregor.
Hmm.
I just do a lot of, reading that stuff, and then I do my own research
Yeah.
on things. And so yeah, it's to me, it's like, it's exciting. Like I look forward to Jeff's video every week to see like what new studies, or and I experiment with different herbs. I'm also an herbalist, so I
Hmm.
love just making different teas and finding out these new benefits that the ancient people knew in Ayurveda, but
Yeah.
now are being shown, like, turmeric and all these.
It makes you wonder how those pyramids were built, and if we're actually just relearning everything a second time. You know what I mean? Like, did we already learn all this stuff before? Right. Yeah. That's awesome. Jeff Palmer is an amazing like scientist, in my opinion. I've been on his show, and I've seen his he just dumps words of wisdom every time I chat with him, and hitting me with all the latest cool science. So I'm just curious, like, for other people that want to get into, building a program and maybe following in your footsteps a little bit, the road is long and hard, but it's that for every business, no matter what. So what advice would you give to aspiring entrepreneurs interested to join us in this plant-based sector?
You mean like creating a program and stuff?
Yeah, if they were wanted to create their own business, how could you help
Well,
inspire more entrepreneurs?
I would say, like, find your absolute passion. Like, for me, like I said, I fell into this. I've been cooking my whole life. I've been obsessed with health. And then I finally found like the diet that works the best. So that was a big moment. And then I'm hanging out with all these amazing doctors and noticing that they're all talking. This is honestly like something that I'm really passionate about changing. It's like, even these plant-based doctors, they talk it, but they're not even eating as good as they could themselves. And it's like,
Yeah.
doctor, you should be doing this. And if you can't do it, hire someone. Like,
Yeah.
I'm really a big advocate. I lived in South America. I lived in India. Everyone has a maid that can come over, like, and it's cheaper than eating out every day. And like,
Hmm.
what I mean? Hire someone. So I really so that became my passion. It's like, and it's hard when you're doing something that's really never been done, and like people don't want to learn how to cook.
Hmm.
Everybody wants something quick, and so I think it's like really just find your passion, find who's your ideal client, and then you have to clarify that message.
Yeah.
Like, so like for me, like it's just, again, like with the food, the nutrition, um, and then yeah, like be prepared that it's going to take a while, but yeah, like you said, but just find like, I guess what I noticed, a lot of people, things that people are really good at, they take it for granted. Like for me
Hmm.
with cooking,
Yeah.
I didn't realize that most people don't even know how to boil water. Like I was
Yeah.
cooking like complicated stuff when I was 12 years old. I was
Right.
baking. I was doing that when I was 12 years. So I think if people realize like what they can do so easily, I think work has to be like, to make money, you have to do something difficult and
Yeah.
not something you enjoy. But maybe like something you're already doing, uh, you could turn it into a program, because all you have to do is take people who are beginner compared to you. You don't even have to be the best. You just have to
Yep.
be that much better. And in fact, I think, like, if keeping it, for someone who's a high level, keeping it easy is a challenge, so you don't have
Hmm.
to actually do, like, I see these things. It's like, 200 down, pay me $50 and you get like 200 cookbooks and all these downloads. That's if they're not actually making it and putting the food in their belly, it doesn't count. So
That's
my
right.
goal is to get the food in people's belly, and to change the ecosystem, which takes
Hmm.
about 8 weeks. But not only that, but I want them to retain it. I want them to
That's
be
right.
cooking this way for the rest of be able to have these skills for the rest of their life.
I love it. Yeah, absolutely. And it's true. Like I take for granted. I know the DNS and the SEO and all that stuff. I love geeking out on all that kind of stuff. But it is something I take for granted. And then I start to boil some water for some pasta. And I'm like, man, how much salt should I put in? How do I keep the pasta from sticking together? All these little things, like, got a million questions on, and I fake it till I make it a little bit there. So this has been awesome, Jason. I appreciate you hanging out with us. tell us, like, what is your long-term vision for the programs that you're trying to create? And then how can we help you as a community?
Oh, wow. Thank you. Yeah. Long-term vision. Wow. I mean, I would love to see like physical locations, like I said in my mission. It's not just about creating amazing, healthy environments of microbes in people's guts. I want to see more people getting together, because that's a whole nother part of the healing process, is community. And it is so interesting how like our gut is a community, and like it's not just, you know, taking one probiotic. So yeah, I mean, I would love to create like physical locations, like a zero waste organic stores with cafes. People are busy, so I would love to create a place that people can just come in, and it's an easily franchisable idea.
Yeah.
But related to the program more, yeah, I would love to see, you know, to create a few more programs. I have a second program which is a little bit more advanced, where we get into like vegan cheeses and like hummus, more kind of stuff. But I would love to, you know, train some coaches to be able to do what I'm doing. You know, really get the message, have the coaches, and just be able to expand it and show people, you know, like you can learn how, you could have no cooking experience, and you could make like if you look at my Instagram, like you could see these bowls I make. They're colorful, they look amazing, they're super delicious. I have people who meet every day, eat my food, and they feel great, and they tell me they feel great, but yet they're not ready to do it.
They're not ready. Yeah. We'll keep working on them. How do we get in touch, and what can we do as a community to help?
So I would say, yeah, just come hang out with me. If you go on my website, optimizedguthealth.com, it's super easy to get a hold of me. Get on a discovery call with me, get to know me, and yeah, of course you could share my stuff, but yeah, come talk to me. I have the program, but I'm always happy to accommodate people. Some people say, well, I don't want to cook. Okay, I have a service where I could help you shop at Whole Foods and like eat as healthy at the airport as possible. So I can walk you through that. But yeah, I guess let's just get in touch and give me like a little bit of your time to, you know, to share like how easy this is and the amazing results you can get. Like, because, you know, it's always like, I don't have the time, I don't have the money.
Yeah.
You know, I like my bad food.
I don't know if everybody's saying they do like their French fries now and then, but at the same time, there's some healthy ways to even do French fries. So, yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, if you go on my website, there's 2 videos. Also, I explain a lot of the science behind it. I'm really just trying to get people to understand, like Hippocrates said, Ayurveda says, all disease starts in the gut, and that has been, again, proven like with modern research. So if I can leave with one simple message, it's like your health is your happiness is dependent on your health. If you're healthy, then you can go, like my goal is not to just focus on being healthy all the time. People can be real health nuts. So it's like you get healthy, so then you can go be a great part of your community.
That's right.
If you get healthy, you need to have a healthy gut. And to have a healthy gut, you need to feed it diverse fiber.
That's right. Well said. Well said by the Fiber King. Thank you, Jason, for being here. We really appreciate you.
My pleasure.
That is all the time we have for this episode of the Plant Based on Fire podcast. Thanks again, Jason. We really appreciate you joining us, sharing your insights and experiences with us. If you like this episode, click that like and subscribe button down below. Until next time, everybody, keep that fire burning.
And that's a wrap for this episode of Plant Based on Fire. We hope you enjoyed learning about the innovative plant-based businesses we featured today and got inspired to support them on their journey. Remember, plant-based eating isn't just a trend. It's a way of life that benefits your health, the environment, and animals. By choosing plant-based foods, you're making a positive impact on the world and helping to create a better and more compassionate future. If you want to join the Real Men Eat Plants community and get even more resources to help you go and stay plant-based, check out our blog, podcasts, and 30-day challenge at realmeneatplants.com. Thank you for tuning in to Plant Based on Fire, brought to you by Real Men Eat Plants. Head over to Apple Podcast and give us a review, and let us know what you think of this episode. Don't forget to tag us at Plant Based on Fire when you share this episode in your preferred social media. Wish to be a guest? We need to know about your plant-based business. Email us at pbof@realmeneatplants.com. We love hearing from our listeners. Thank you to our guests and to you, our listeners, for your support, and see you next time.